Madam Clerk, would you read the roll, please?
Chairwoman Johnson, Vice Chairman Stone,
Present.
Bennett,
Here.
Member Connors, Member Jackaloni,
Present.
Member Reposa,
Present.
Member Schultz,
Present.
Executive Director Needham.
Present. Present.
First item of business is the board may discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the meeting of May 5, 2026.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 2, the board may discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the May 13th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 3, the board may discuss and vote upon the recommendation from the Legislative Committee on the attached campaign finance and/or election legislation submitted by other persons and entities to the General Assembly during the current legislative session. And I will turn that over to the subcommittee chair, Chairwoman Bettencourt.
Thank you. So during the committee, we just discussed a piece of legislation that had come up earlier in the session that Rick and his team were working with the sponsors. So the bill should be in your package. So you'll see two of them. One of them is the Senate version, which is Senate Bill 2334, Substitute A. And the other one is the House Bill 7495. The Senate version has successfully passed the Senate as of last week and has been transmitted to the House. The General Assembly is set to end next week, so that's something really important to keep in mind. The committee voted to, well, I can actually, sorry, let me back up. I'm happy to go through the changes that the subcommittee that resulted in the subcommittee creating a sub A, which means just amended changes. So the first one is in page number 2, line 8. And actually, if it's easy, you can just compare both bills. They're, you know. So again, the first change is they deleted the words public funds from the language. Excuse me, my allergies. The second change in page 2, line 10, there was a change to remove, to change the words from public figure to office holder. The third change, again in page 2, line 12, they changed the word individual to candidate or office holder. Change 4 is page 2, line 19, and it changed the candidate or office holder shall determine that the security expense are reasonably related to security risks to themselves and their immediate family. That was the original, and the new change is the security expenses must be reasonably related to security risk to themselves and their immediate family. Lastly, in page 2, line 22, there was a change from reported to the state campaign finance agency in accordance with rules governing non-campaign disbursement to reported to the Board of Elections in accordance with rules governing campaign disbursements of campaign funds under Chapter 25 of this title. And one of the questions that was asked during the committee is this, the bill only focuses on physical security systems, and our legal counsel, as well as the staff, agrees with the version, like all the changes that happened in this amended version. So because of that, the subcommittee voted to support the amended version, the Senate version, which again has been transmitted to the House. And in the same vein, we voted to support the House version only if it is amended to match the Senate version. Did I miss anything?
Nope, that was it.
Sounds good.
Awesome. If there's questions about the bill, what it would do, or how it would impact the Board of Elections. Great. So again, our committee is bringing this to all of you. So hoping that the board will vote to, similarly to our committee, vote to support Senate Bill 2334 Sub A, and in the same model, House Bill 7495 only if amended to match Sub A. So I guess that's my motion.
Second.
I forgot I was here. Moved and seconded to support as outlined by the chairwoman. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? Motion passes. Agenda item number, go ahead.
Just-
Yeah, go
Ray,
ahead.
did you say we needed a second motion for
For the
House
House.
7495? If we want to support that, if it's going to be amended in conjunction with the Senate bill?
Did the motion just say that you were supporting
Yeah,
the
I
House
didn't know if you
bill?
wanted a separate motion for that or not, because we did that in
I-
committee.
I don't think so, because the Senate version has already passed. You
That's
don't
right.
really need anything to
Mhm,
be
mhm.
done with that.
Okay, great.
That's set.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Great, no, thank you. No, not at all. Agenda item number 4, the board may discuss and vote upon a proposed rule and regulation for early voting conduct, a copy of which is attached. Miguel?
Madam Chair, honorable members of the board, today I present to you for your review and vote today an updated version of the early voting conduct regulations. This latest version includes multiple changes discussed and requested by the board members at a previously held meeting on April 7th. There were approximately half a dozen significant changes completed in the regulation. I'll just outline each one that you have in front of you in the draft regulation. In section 29.1 and 29.2, the staff, in conjunction with discussions with legal counsel Mark Carcio, revived the statutory references in those two sections to more precisely refer to statutes in 1720, as you know, which governs mail ballots. Under the definitions, we more precisely defined early voting as having the same meaning and legal effect as emergency voting, which was some based on input from the board. In 29.1 and 29.5, section 1, we modified this section to more clearly reflect the intent of the section and explicitly mention the right for a voter to cast a provisional ballot on election day. We did not add language to address the availability of provisional ballots at early voting for several reasons. First is because early voting, as you know, is currently technically considered, is under state law, emergency mail voting, which is regulated under the Help America Vote Act. Provisional voting, and provisional voting is also regulated under governed under 1719-24.1. And therefore, since emergency mail ballots is early voting, provisional voting is not applicable in this case. Now, if the General Assembly at some point moves early voting out of the mail voting section of state law and establishes as part of 1719 or its own distinct chapter, then provisional ballots could potentially be administered. However, at that point, there would be some procedural and technical challenges that would need to be resolved at that time. But we wanted to make it clear in 29.5-1, the requirements and the ability to cast a provisional ballot on election day if the voter chooses to. In 29.7A2, we inserted language here requiring the recording of the number of votes cast and the voter check-ins each day of the early voting period, as well as to require that the staff of local board notify the Board of Canvassers in the event of any discrepancy. In 29.7A, sections 5 through 9 were reordered to flow better with the actual sequence of events in setting up the early voting site and closing it down at the end of the 20 days. In 29.7D5, the language regarding bake sales has been stricken from the proposed regulation. Now, in addition to these 6 significant changes, we also did make various other small changes to essentially for several words or phrases that do improve the flow, clarity, or context of some of the sections within the regulation, which you'll find scattered throughout the regulation, just to improve the context and the flow. This concludes my summary of changes to the proposed regulation on early voting conduct. I request the board's approval to issue the regulation for public comment. You can determine the amount of days. Typically, it's been 30 days, even though this regulation is not subject to the Administrative Procedures Act, but that would be determined by the board. And after which time, after in public comment for that determined period of time, these regulations will be presented to the board, probably and most likely at the July 7th board meeting for any final changes and for promulgation to the Secretary of State. I'm happy to answer any questions from the board.
Any questions from Miguel?
Just, Miguel, if we can look at 29.5A, where I think after ballot, is that now a period on the third line?
29.5A. Yes, that's an addition of a period there, yes.
Just in reading that sentence, I'm just not sure, like, and I don't want to say grammatically, but I'm just looking for the verb in the sentence, frankly. Any individual who is eligible to vote in the election in which the early voting is being conducted, except any voter who has applied for a mail ballot. And then we've eliminated the is not able, all of that. And then it just goes down to nothing herein shall be construed to limit. So it just, that first sentence seems a little bit clumsy to me, but I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't look like it's a good sentence to me.
So I think in trying to modify the language, basically it's changed to say, the requirements for voter eligibility are any individual who is eligible to vote in the election in which the early voting is being conducted, comma, but the exception to that is any voter who has applied for a mail ballot. So if a person is eligible, meaning they've met the requirements for 30
Right.
days and they are eligible to vote at early voting, except if they are a mail, and this is sort of taken from the regulation on polling place conduct and sort of, changed to accommodate this,
Right.
this language. But
Right,
if there's a better suggestion to word it so it's
No,
clearer.
I agree with that. I just think we need a verb in here to indicate that they're entitled to vote. Because when you just read it, when you just summarized it, you said is eligible to vote. And it
Yes,
doesn't say is eligible to vote. And I understand the meaning of it, what we want to say, but it doesn't say, it just says any individual who is eligible to vote. It doesn't say can vote.
mm-hmm.
It just says is eligible to vote. That's my only question is as to whether that language needs to be modified. I'm in total agreement with what you said. That language seems to me to be not accurate or lacking a verb, if you will. And again, it may be just a minor issue, but other than that, I think they're great regulations. I think you guys did a great job.
So perhaps something along the lines of an individual is eligible to vote in early voting at an election. I think I understand what you're
Anything of that
saying.
nature, but I just to clarify it a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, I'm okay. That was my only question on it. And it's not something I don't know that we have to address before it goes to public comment, but I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, could that be, every individual shall be eligible to vote in the election in which the early voting is being conducted, except those voters who have applied for a mail ballot.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Great. Thank you.
I like that.
So I can make that change before it goes to public comment.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Miguel, has all the local boards received this document for their review?
So we reached out to the Elections Committee on the City and Town Clerks Association for their help in drafting this, and they've seen the various versions of this from the beginning. And they suggested many changes, which were all pretty much incorporated. We also reached out to the Secretary of State's office. They also had feedback on all the different versions. The This version and the version that previously went before the board on April 7th was all distributed to the local boards as well. And we have not received any feedback from the local boards outside of the elections committee, who have provided their feedback.
For this version,
Correct.
are you going to send it, though, to the 39 local boards for their input?
Yes, if the board puts it out for public comment, then we'll refer them to the regulation, and it's out there for 30 days for feedback.
Because I think it's very important that they see this, because they're the ones that actually have to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. If there are no other questions, do we have a motion to vote upon this proposed rule and regulation?
I'll move to present it for public comment as presented by the director and legal counsel.
I second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Agenda item number 5, the board may vote to convene an executive session regarding investigations into allegations of misconduct, either civil or criminal, in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5, subsection A, subsection 4. Do we have a mission? Do we have a motion to convene an executive session?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we will move into executive session at Oh, sorry, Miguel. Go ahead. I'd like to ask for a motion to seal the minutes of executive session and resume open session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And now I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Both did that on purpose. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'm assuming no opposed, and we are adjourned at 4:55 PM. Thanks, everyone.
Good.
No opposed.
No opposed.
No opposed.